The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 90. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Visit our blog at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan. And today I have a special lady on today. She's an integrative life coach, and she's also studying to be a yoga teacher. So I'm really excited to have her on and share her story with us. She's from Seattle, and her name is Daisy Wong. Daisy, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Hello, I'm Daisy. Thank you, Sheena, for the introduction. I am an integrative life coach. I trained with Debbie Ford and received my coaching certification through the Ford Institute of Transformational Training, and I am currently a student of Kundalini Yoga.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. That must be fun, learning yoga or becoming a yoga teacher.
Yeah, I love the Hatha and the Vinyasa yoga, but when I went and took my first Kundalini yoga class, it just felt like home, and it was just perfect. So I wanted more. So that's why I'm training to be a teacher.
I love it. You do what you love. The closest thing I had to yoga was hot yoga. I don't know if that counts.
That counts.
Okay, that's good. Well, Daisy, what's your cultural background?
So I'm Chinese. I speak Cantonese. I was born in Hong Kong. And my family and I immigrated to the United States when I was about 8 years old. And I've been in Seattle ever since.
Wow, I've never been to Seattle yet. I've been to the airport, and that's the farthest I've been.
It's a great airport.
Yeah, but I know the city's really beautiful, so I got to check that out sometime. And, what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
Debbie Ford is who I train with, and, I just love what she has to say. And my favorite quote is, "Your life will be transformed when you make peace with your shadow. The caterpillar will become a breathtakingly beautiful butterfly. You will no longer have to pretend to be someone you're not. You will no longer have to prove you're good enough. And when you embrace your shadow, you will no longer have to live in fear. Find the gifts of your shadow, and you will finally revel in all the glory of your true self. Then you will have the freedom to create the life you've always desired." That's from my late mentor, Debbie Ford.
I like when you said, make peace with your shadow, because, often we're always, we always have these dark sides to us, and we're always, especially as Asian women, right, we're always told what to do and stuff, and we tend to focus on the negative, thinking that that's all we have, that's all we can do, because that's what we're told to do, when really we can come out of that. So I really appreciate that quote. And, in your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
So personally for me, self-confidence, it's not like it's always there. I'm not always, 100% self-confidence, but I think, it's self-confidence is a feeling, and really being able to trust yourself and trusting your own abilities and loving all of your qualities, and really being able to love, being loving towards yourself no matter what is going on in the outer world, and accepting and surrendering to your own journey and your own process.
I like that you mentioned, loving yourself no matter what's going on in the world, in the outer world, because, a lot of us tend to focus on that, right? I mean, There's tabloids, there's the news, there's television, and we all get so caught up in it that we forget about, loving ourselves and working on ourselves. So I love that definition that you mentioned. And Daisy, before your discovery of self-confidence, what was your life like?
Oh gosh, it's just funny because I've been through this training, and I've done a lot of, my inner work. And before, doing all this work and the discovery of self-confidence, I used to always look for validation through work and through people and what I'm able to do for people. So, if I was able to do a lot for my parents, for my family, I would feel really good for myself. And when I'm not able to, I don't really feel good. And I often sacrifice my own needs to help other people, and then feeling resentment because it wasn't reciprocated. And then I would judge myself for, my resentments and all the guilt. And it just wasn't a good cycle to be in. It was just very dark. I felt like, that time of my life was just very dark, like just having a cloud over it, like raining all the time. So just a dark time.
Well, thanks for sharing that. And I think too, just being an Asian woman, like we're always seeking validation, whether it's, our parents or peers, because, we want to be that good girl model, right? Being the good daughter, the good sister, the good wife, the good, I don't know, cousin, whatever it is, right? And if we don't meet up to their standards, it's like we've created this sin, and it's like it's the end of the world, and it's like we're not that good girl anymore. So it can be really stressful when we have to keep on seeking validation from people, right?
Oh, absolutely. And especially as an Asian woman, it's like we are taught and raised to be obedient, to be polite, and sometimes I just want to say screw that crap, I don't want to do that.
I'm with you on that too. It's like, screw it. When I hear some stories of what some Asian women go through, it's like, I'm really grateful I didn't have to go through that, but it's time for Asian women to like just step up sometimes, right? So. Oh
yeah. Really okay to do that.
Yeah, for sure. Right. I mean, it's 2015, so.
That's right.
So thanks for sharing that. And, what was your aha moment when you realized, you didn't have to do that anymore, like seeking validation and resenting yourself all the time?
I don't know if it was like one moment. I think there was lots of little moments of me being completely sick and tired of being a people pleaser and having really unhealthy boundaries with people, especially my family, my parents. And, I was just overwhelmed. I was working probably like 60 to 80 hours a week, just trying to move up the corporate ladder, and because that's where I got all my validation. And I was just lost, and I was angry, and I was resentful. And I just came a moment when I was like, I'm sick of being this way, and I'm sick of being unhappy and lost and doing something I didn't love to do. So one day I've always been a fan of Debbie Ford's books, and one day I signed up for her shadow process retreat. It was a weekend where, you go and just deal with all the stuff, and my life just really hasn't really been the same ever since, because I signed up to be a coach. I wanted more information. It just felt like home. And I think I've done a little bit of traveling, international travel, and it has really taught me that what I'm looking for is within, and there's nothing that's outside of myself that will give me the love that I so desire.
I like that last thing that you mentioned. Like, it is true, it's within us, right? But sometimes we forget that. We gotta love ourselves first. We gotta do this inner work, to have that confidence, to be able to live the life that we want, whether it's being a coach, yoga teacher, or even doing this podcast, right? So I love that you mentioned that, and after that, what's your life like now?
What my life is like now, I am very responsible for my feelings and for my thoughts. And, we're humans, and we have a whole range of emotions and feelings, and they're all okay. I just want to be a whole human being. And, I feel responsible, and I accept all of my feelings. And, I found out that our shadow beliefs can keep us stuck. And I have healthy boundaries with my family, and that makes, a huge difference in my life, and I don't have to feel angry and guilty anymore. And when I do things for people, it's because it's a hell yes, because I used to do things just because I didn't want to disappoint people. And now it's a yes. It's like when I want to do something, I'm confident in my yes, or confident if it's no, I don't have time for that right now. And it's been great.
That's awesome. That's great. I know it's a different feeling when you want to do stuff for people because you want to, not because you feel like you're obligated to, because maybe, it could be your parents or friends or whoever it is. So it's such a big change. And, I like that you mentioned that. And, to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be on her own journey to self-confidence. And, she's probably wondering, what would that one tip you would give to the listener?
My one tip, I have two actually. So I think really having trust in your own decisions, like whatever it is that you need to do to get to that point where you can trust your decision and trust your own thoughts and your own feelings, because ultimately, you know what is best for you. No one else does, not even your mom, not your dad. And ask for help. I think it's so important for Chinese or Asian women, especially, to ask for help, because I know how hard it can be. It's completely out of our, cultural, what we've learned growing up. Ask for help, build your tribe, and really seek out teachers and, read and take in that information and really take care of yourself, but have a lot of fun doing it.
Thank you for sharing that. And I like that you said, ask for help because it's true, right? Like, especially, for Asian women, it's like we're not allowed to ask for help. We got to do everything on our own. And we can't. We're human. We're not like some super robot that can do everything, right? We're not like we're not like Rosie from the Jetsons.
Right.
And sometimes it's okay to ask for help. There's nothing wrong with it, right? I mean, could be a good thing, right? Then you can learn something from it and be able to move on. So thanks for sharing that. And Daisy, if our listeners want to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, and your services as well, is there any links or any social media profiles we can connect with?
Sure, I'm on all of them. So my website is www.daisywong.com. You can also find my coaching website on facebook.com/daisywongcoaching. And I'm also on Instagram, which I have been using a little bit more of, and that's Instagram/Miss Daisy Wong, because Daisy Wong was taken.
How could they? I'm just kidding.
It's amazing how many Daisy Wongs are out there.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, to our listeners, if you want to connect with Daisy, feel free to head on over to thetowofselfconfidence.com and search for Daisy's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I really just want to thank Daisy for taking the time to share her story with us. So, Daisy, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sheena. This has been a lot of fun.
Awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed today's episode. And to our listeners out there, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll catch you later. Bye for now. Thank you for joining us on the Tao of Self-Confidence. Visit thetowofselfconfidence.com for links to everything we chatted about today, as well as killer resources, gifts, and so much more. Start your inner journey to self-confidence today.